Hello again, Chapter 9, The Spectacular Now Novel. Let's go. My job is okay. You know what an okay job is, don't you? It's a job you only hate some of the time instead of all of the time. I fold shirts at Mr. Leon's fine men's clothing store over on the stair. Actually, the shirt folding is just busy work. I'm supposed to be a salesman, but customers are pretty spare. Who wants to come to Mr. Leon's when you can go to the mall? Last summer, we had four locations in the greater metro area. But now there is only 2 left. It's just a matter of time before Mr. Leon's completely dries up and blows away, dead and gone. Like the Indian taco place that used to be next door. But the lack of customers isn't what I hate about the job. In fact, I dread hearing the bell above the door ring. Yes, we still have one of those bells above the door. Mr. Leon's get 2 types of customers. Old guy who wants stuff that went out of the style 10 years ago, and the young 21 or 22 years old sales guy. Funny, it's the young guy that gives me the creepy crawlies the most. Once I saw this documentary about some primitive trip in the South American rainforest, and they were like so cool. They didn't wear anything but these leather flaps that barely covered their downstairs business, the woman included, and they walked around in the forest, free and wild, waving baskets, shooting tokens with blowguns, and all sort of cool stuff. Then civilization started creeping in, and the next thing you know, they're wearing this limp t-shirt and long colored polyester shirt and looking like leather fineness. It was enough to break your heart. Well, that's what these young dudes remind me of. You know, just a tick of the clock ago, they were teenagers, free and wild, stunts riding their bikes, slashing down sidewalks on their skateboards, plunging from rocky cliff into Lake Tencler. Now they come into Mr. Leon's wearing their salesman outfit, and their bodies still having filled out enough to look right in them. The pants cuffs bunch up on top of their clunky shoes, and their shirts collars hike about 3 inches away from their neck in the back. They have their hair mouse working conjugating round their noses and mouths from the stress of working the fresh real jobs and paying their own bills. And you know what? It's even more heartbreaking than the rainforest, dudes, because I know that's the world that's waiting for me out there too. I already have to put on the slacks, the stiff shirts, and the ties just to work at Mr. Leon's. The real world is coming, chugging straight at me like a bulldozer into the rainforest. I cancel that. If I wanted to, I could talk 9 out of these young dudes into buying one of those pastel colored leisure, I don't know, LAISURE suit from the 70s. They're coming back in style, I said. You look like Burt Reynolds. All you need is mustache. But that's not what I want to do. I don't want to spend my days nagging people to buy things they don't need, sorry. Maybe if I could find something to believe in, some radical new product that would save the ozone layer or something, I'd be a Helluva salesman then. But Mr. Leon's is what I have for right now. My stepfather, Gitch, got the job for me. I wanted to work in a nut house, but those jobs are hard to come by. And Gitch was so proud of himself for having connection in the business world that he couldn't hear anything I was saying. I got into sales when I was 14, he boasted, and I owned my own plumbing supply business before I was 35. Plumbing supplies, big deal. Anyway, folding shirts provides me with enough cash to make car payments and hold on to a decent chunk of parting funds in the process. Besides, the job's not all bad. You just have to look for the positive side. That's what I always say. Sorry. For example, my manager Bob Lewis is a great guy. I mean, I love this dude. He has dreams. He always talking about how he's going to strike it rich, depending on what day it is. He's all about starting up his own motivation seminars for babies or writing a screenplay about space dinosaurs or inventing a diet involving walnuts, ice cream, and fish sticks. He has all sort of restaurant ideas, like places that revolve around the foods of different states. Alaskan owls, Wisconsin willies, Idaho Idas. I guess the Idaho one would serve nothing but potatoes. My favorite restaurant has had to be the miniature golf place. There'll be some different dish to sample at each hole, and the price would depend on your score. I could see customers getting pretty full by the time they finished 18 holes. Sorry, I never get tired of his story. I egg him on to tell them, but I know he'll never do any of those things. You know why? Because he doesn't really care about getting rich. He just likes to dream. What he really cares about is his family, his lumpy little wife and 2 lumpy little children. That's where his commitment is. That's where all of his energy goes. His wife isn't attractive in any official way, but she is beautiful. It's awesome when she shows up at the store. Her face beams. His face beams, and I'm sure my face beams just from watching the 2 of them. I'm so sorry. His face beam, and I'm sure my face beams just from watching the 2 of them. Same thing with his kids, Kelsey and Jake. They're 5 and 7 years old and can't wait for their dad to hoist them up in the air and toss them around. He calls Kelsey Butterbean and Jack Spot. Every time they leave the store I go, Bob, why don't you adopt me? Anyway, since Bob the world's greatest husband and family man, I figure he might have some decent advice to put forth on the whole Cassidy fiasco. It's late in the afternoon, and a customer hasn't walked through the door in 2 hours. And we're sitting around with our pop machine shooting the breeze. Bob's wearing his usual stretch blue shirt that shows off his sweet stains royalty about this time of day. He's got off the look of a guy who probably had a pretty athletic build at one time, back before he started putting away his wife's chicken fries steaks. Of course, I've dosed my can of 7-Up with just a dash of whiskey, but Bob doesn't know anything about that. Used to, he didn't mind it if I doctored my drinks every once in a while, as long as it was late in the day. But I guess some old man customers smelled But I guess some old man customer smelled it on my breath and complained. Now I go covered with it just to avoid putting Bob in an awkward position. I guess there is not a whole lot I can do about it. I tell him about the Cassidy situation. She's made up her mind, blah blah blah, a French word. Says la vie, I guess. Don't give up so easy, he said. Why not? There's the other girl out there. I've kind of got my eye on whiskey. Whitney Stowe. Light brown hair, blue eyes, lime porcelain legs. She is a little bit of an ice queen drama department diva. But that just means no one else ever asked her out. They're too intimidated, not me. So I just move on in a direction and never look back. Bob shook his head. That's what you say, but I bet $100 that's not how you feel. Just admit it. You want Cassidy back. She's special. To tell you the truth, I thought she might be the one to yank your shifter out of neutral. What are you talking about? I'm not stuck in neutral. I'm in overdrive. Yes, right. Did you at least try to talk to her? Sure. I explained the whole thing. I mean, she didn't answer the phone or anything, but I left a long message that's very nice, completely detailed. And on the top of that, I mailed her. I got nothing back, zero. The big platypus egg. I mean, at the school she walks right past me like I'm the original Invisible Man. Did you follow after her? No, I'm not a puppy dog. Did you apologize? Not really. I just explained how I was only doing Ricky a favor, which has worked out splendidly. By the way, since he's going out with Bethany on Friday, the way I see it, I don't really have anything to apologize for. It's just a misunderstanding. Bob waggles his hand at me. Doesn't matter. It never hurts to apologize. I don't care if she's the one who did something you didn't like. Go ahead and apologize. It's the sacrifice of it. That's what shows you love her. Yes, I say, but then she's going to have a leash around my neck. You have to stop thinking that way. Don't worry about who has the power in the relationship all the time. If you make her happy, then that's the biggest power you can have. I say, I never thought of it that way. Bob really does make a lot of good points. I don't know how effective he be at motivating babies, but he do a tremendous job with an advice to the alone column for teenagers. My advice, he said, is to go over the evening. Don't call or text her. Don't email. Just go over there in person. What's her favorite kind of flower? I don't know. He gives me the TSK. Head shakes. Just bring some roses. Then tell her you were wrong, but Don't go into all sort of promises about how you'll never do it again. Instead, tell her you've been thinking about how she must have felt when she saw the other girl hugging you. That way you can start her talking about her feelings. Then you've got to listen hard. Let her know that her feelings are important to you. That's all she wants from you in the first place. Damn, Bob, I said. That is it. That is good. That is really good. You ought to be on Oprah. I'm not kidding. I've thought about writing a book about this kind of stuff, he says. I might have to get a doctorate in human relations first. Finished.